Hi, thanks for joining me on Wilderness with Amani. For the first time, fishing at an area that I would refer to as the very top of the Owens River. The road right here, the Owens River, which is more like Owens Creek, is on this side, and on that side it turns into Dead Man's Creek, and that looks a little tougher to fish, so I'm gonna go mess around down in the Owens with my fly rod. I've already hiked down this trail to look at the creek, and it's interesting. It's really clear, it's small, and I'm just going to be fishing. I'm going to go down there with this beadhead pheasant tail nymph on here, and I've only got about a 3.5, 4 foot leader. Probably going to shorten that down to 3. It's narrow and rushing right here, but if you go down, it starts to open up a bit, and I think there could be some opportunities. There's a good chance that I will put on a woolly bugger and see if there's any bigger browns once I get down there a ways. But I've never seen this. I've never looked at it. I'm just going to go see if I can catch anything down there. I'm assuming that there's some really nice wild trout. I don't know if they're very big, but we're just going to go see, you know? It's one of those things where you don't know until you go and see, and that's what a lot of my backcountry fishing playlist and creeks and rivers playlists are about. Finding new stretches of water, taking a look at it, and seeing what the fishing opportunities are. So I'm going to go head down this trail and see if we can get anything going. Here's Dead Man's Creek there. That's where it turns into the Owens on the other side of this. And I went down and scouted that a little bit. I saw a pretty nice trout, like a 10-incher swim up there. And the water is crystal clear. I'm going to head down into the top of the Owens. I'm going to call this the top of the Owens for today. And it's really just a creek up here, but it gets a little better when you hike down the trail a bit. I did a little bit of scouting. So I'm going to go see if I can't pull something out of this little thing. Basically, what brought me here is I was just looking at the special regulation chart for trout waters, and it had the Owens River regulations, and it said up until Dead Man Creek, it's 0 bag limit, barbless only. It's special regulation up here. And I'm always interested in looking at special regulation waters. I find a lot of water to fish from the special regulation chart. And I just looked at it on the map, and here it is. There's going to be some tough approaches to the water, but I just have to do the best I can. There's decent cover from rocks and trees and bushes along the river, so hopefully I can utilize that. This right here, it's really hard to get up to the water. I might go with the woolly bugger. And hit that woolly bugger. Oh, there he is. That's not bad. And I got him to come out from under that right there. Let me get my hands wet so I can show you this guy. Check this guy out. Woo! There he goes. And just when the river goes into the meadow, no trespassing, barbed wire fence. All right, got a good one on a woolly bugger. I ran into that private property and that was a drag, but he is swimming way upstream. Where's he going? Oh! I just took a bad fall. He's up into that. Get him up out of there. Whew. Ooh, it's a nice brown. Ooh. I almost seriously got hurt. Ooh, nice brown. There he is. Whew. I was gonna go get my... Got him. I was gonna go get my... Oh, he's almost too big for this net. Let me get him in this water so he can get a little air. Take a look. Woo, it's about a 18-inch brown. Check him out. That is a nice brown for this little tiny creek, man. Woo! We get him in this little current and try to get him a little bit of revival. Woo! What a brown. I didn't think I was gonna be able to land him. I fell in the water over there. I have to dry out my boots now. I gotta hike in these tomorrow. I was gonna give up on this place, man. And it just, I nailed this brown. He swam all the way up into those rocks. Woo, that's a nice brown trout right there on my fly rod in this small stream. Get him back in there. There he goes. He went right under that rock. Man, I'm shocked that that fish was in here. So, there's a private property line. I got down here and the river gets good over there, but I have some deep sections here. So I put on the biggest, it's not the biggest woolly bugger I have, but it has the biggest bead head on it. Because I wanted to get a little bit of, just buy myself a little bit more time. And my leader's about 3.5 feet. And I crawled up here and just tossed it in and was just drifting it and pulling it, and that fish just nailed it, man. He came up out of there and just nailed it. And when I jumped over here, I went down right there. That was almost a leg breaking situation. So just really quick, that brown took me all the way up here through that little funnel area and up under those 2 sticks. He almost beat me. But you know what? You know what they say about almost? Horseshoes and hand grenades. It's the only time almost counts. Come on, boy. Get out of that current. All right, I'm gonna take him downstream. I don't want to fall in the water again. It's not what I want. Never looking for the waterfall. And did the same thing with this guy as the last one. Just crawled up, tossed it in. He just swam right out and grabbed it. That's why with my short leader, it really doesn't matter, because these fish don't see it that long. They're right in there and they just swim right up and grab it. And this is a 2-hander. 2 nice browns. There we go. Beautiful brown trout. Beautiful fish on my fly rod. Woo! So obviously these browns are really spooky. So I came in from over here, went into these thorn bushes, got all chewed up, and I got right behind this thing. And I just flicked my woolly bugger right there in the front of the pool, and he swam right up and grabbed it. And without this really short leader, I'm not gonna be able to drop my fly right where I need to. I mean, I'm fishing tight windows here. So that's why when I'm fly fishing, my leader is as short as it needs to be for the job I'm doing. No longer, no shorter. A little guy, I want him to fall off. Fall off, dude. I'm fishing artificial barbless. All right, I gotta get my hand wet on my net and I gotta get this guy off. Darn it. It's always the little ones. So if I get my net wet, which is tougher without my long handle, but I can do it, I can then pull him up here, he goes into a wet net, and then I can get my hand wet on the net. And it's all about a progression. There you go, nice little rainbow, getting back in the water. Man, I threw it up into that crystal clear waterfall, and a pretty good fish came up after my woolly bugger, but he couldn't get it. Look how clear this water is, man. Check that out on my arm. I went down and got shredded on that volcanic rock. I fell when I hooked that nice fish, and then I fell into a hole going to the next spot. Man, this place is hostile. Between the volcanic rocks and these thorn-ridden bushes that have raked across my bare legs a couple of times. So I gotta get out of here while I'm still in one piece. I've already raked my knee on volcanic rock, my arm on volcanic rock. I've got those thorns from those bushes I showed you in my legs. I raked that a couple of times. So I think this exploration of the top section of the Owens River, right where it meets Dead Man's Creek, is coming to a close. I really wish I could have gone down farther, man. That's where the river gets really good, but it's clearly no trespassing, so that is what it is. And you know, you just gotta be really careful down there because there's a lot of gaps between the rocks, and that's what got me. Man, I got ripped up, man. I gotta go get some triple antibiotic ointment on that. But when I first saw this, I'm like, I wish I had my spinning rod, but I just made my leader even shorter. It's about a 3-foot, 4-pound test fluorocarbon leader, so it's tough. And I made it work. I'm not saying coming to this little thing and pulling fish out of there is easy. It's not what I'm saying at all. In fact, before I hooked that big brown, I thought I was gonna get skunked on anything over 10 inches. But they're in here, and you can catch them. If you crawl around and you're willing to get stuck up by those bushes, you can get them. Thanks for joining me on this quick scouting mission. Until next time.